If you have a business and you're focused on scaling, making more profit, and making more impact, then you're probably thinking about how you can use AI to make that happen. In this video, I'm going to break down the foundational blueprint that I picked up from a music mogul on how to implement AI into your business so that you don't lose the personal touch, but still scale and get the success you want. Let's get into it. What up, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Quintel, founder of Green Book Digital, where I do AI consulting for small businesses so you can cut costs, save time, and start to scale up. Prior to this, my last business was Good Part & Company, a plant-based health cafe and juice bar located here in Baltimore, Maryland. I scaled that up to 2 locations, and the partnership with Johns Hopkins, we did over $700,000 in revenue. I used those same business systems, operations, combined with some AI to help other businesses start to scale, grow, and make more profit. And now I share it all here on this channel. Now, you might be thinking, Quintel, you had a juice bar. What do you know about selling records? What do you know about AI? And what does Steve Stout have to do with any of this? Well, let me break it down for you. A few months ago, Steve Stout was named Music Mogul of the Year by Variety for the success that he's having with United Masters, which is a music distribution platform. But this right here is when I found out or understood who Steve Stout was. He had a cameo in the Kid and Play video. He talks about how he was their road manager. I didn't know who he was then, but I did recognize him from that video because I've always been a fan of hip-hop and the hip-hop culture. I tried to get a high top fade like Kid. I had the oversized graphic tees like Play. Like, I was in it. And I remember when I was young, one of my bigger homies, he had great style. He could hoop. He had the Toyota Cressida back in the early 90s. He used to collect XXL and Source magazines. In one of those magazines, Steve Stout had a quote where he said, "Learn how to take care of something other than yourself before the age of 30. And I was like, damn, that was major. Like, I was a teenager then, but I was like, 30 ain't really that far away. I guess that's how responsible you need to be. And I mean, I dropped the ball here and there, but I totally understood what he meant. I'm like, okay, if this is what it takes to have success, to be behind the scenes, but still make things happen, and to be in these kind of magazines, right? Magazines that I look forward to reading, then I should probably be doing this, right? All the other quotes were positive and, lessons to be learned. And so that's when Steve Stout just stuck on my radar. So anytime he pop up in Vibe magazine or I see some kind of interview about him back, on TV, maybe on an MTV show, and then now on podcasts and interviews, I always listen because I always respect and appreciate his business acumen, the way he explains things, how articulate he is, and also his style. Like, he's a New York guy, he talk about wine and his drinks and this and that and his global experience. I'm a fan. But not just that being a fan, I'm actually learning lessons, and I'm going to break down the one principle that I learned from him and how to apply technology and AI into your business. Now, this is when it started to come together. In 2017, he launched United Masters. Now, he already had translation marketing. He launched United Masters as a platform for independent artists to own a part of their masters and control the distribution. He wrapped the artist's storytelling and culture around the distribution and technology of digital streaming platforms and things like that. And because he has those connections, he can make that happen. Now, 2017 is the year before I started my business plan for Good Part & Company. Now, I got to do some reading here, so I put my glasses on. Now, I wasn't directly inspired because Stout started United Masters, but I was paying attention to all the things in culture just because that's what I'm into. And so I'm looking for ways to what does it look like for me to be able to make these types of things happen? And he says it in this quote right here. "I think it's today's reality of the convergence between storytelling, technology, and culture." And that's exactly how you can go about and should go about using AI in your business. And it's what I did for Good Part & Company. With Good Part & Company, I designed the brand. I designed the logos. I had my friend come. She's an interior designer, an event coordinator. She did the interior design for my business. I wrote out what the language would be like, why we use what colors, when we use those colors. I decided to buy glass bottles from China to bring them in to import and then get them from the U.S. at an even higher price point because that was a part of the brand. That's the part of the culture. That's a part of the story. But I had to scale that story. So I used this YouTube channel here to start documenting the process of building out my own juice bar, using Instagram and Facebook to promote the juice bar. That's how I incorporated the technology. But humans still control the story. Humans still control the culture. Humans still control the connection. And so that's how you got to think about using AI in your business. You use humans for quality, for good taste, for connection. You use technology and AI to scale the distribution for quantity, right? So that you can get the word out there, so that you can spread, so that you connect with people in other places, like geographically. That's how you bring those together. Humans for quality, AI for quantity. The companies that are winning with AI, they really understand that. And they also understand that AI doesn't replace you. It just amplifies what you do. So if you're doing it well, it's going to let you do it well faster and at a higher scale. But if you're not doing something well, it's just going to expose that you're not paying that much attention to how your brand is communicating, how your customers are connecting, what the customer experience is like with your business. So before we get into this guide and this principle that I break down for myself and with my clients in their business, you have to understand that it's very important for you to understand all the facets of your business so you know exactly where to use AI, so that you know what good looks like, right? What does a good output look like for your business once you put AI into it? Like, what is the output? What is the output? What should it be like? Not just, oh, I think I'm supposed to do this. Like, for example, I had a client who outsourced some of the tasks in his business to two guys like super early in the business. And so the guys aren't communicating with the clients, making pickups when they should. They aren't hitting him back when he thinks they should. He doesn't know how long it should really take. So they out just doing whatever they want, joyriding and stuff like that. And so jobs are being delayed. And he think it's just smooth sailing because the actual task is very simple. But the operation is not. He doesn't know what good looks like because he tried to dish off his actual responsibility way too soon. You know, now he's back in the trenches doing what he got to do, but he got to clean up a bit of the mess when he could have set it straight in the beginning. So knowing what good looks like is really going to help you with using AI better. So now let's get into this guide that I actually use, this framework that kind of gives me the thought process on how to use AI properly in your business. What we have here is a decision matrix. This is the framework I use for deciding what task should be done by a human, what task should be automated, and everything else in between. On the y-axis here, this is human judgment, personal taste, right? Low up to high. And then on the x-axis, it's all about what tasks are repeatable and have high automation potential. So this is how the quadrants are broke down. The first quadrant is what I call the craft quadrant. When you think of a craftsman, they are hands-on. They understand how the materials feel, how the materials are going to work or interact or respond to other materials, other instruments, other interactions like other customers coming in. What's it going to be like when you have multiple customers in the store or you have multiple clients in your business, or you're doing a workshop for 20 people versus 100 people, right? This is a real hands-on human-to-human interaction. So some of these craft type of tasks are one-on-one calls. Can't outsource that. Somebody got to be on the phone. Handling sensitive feedback, right? When you got sensitive data, I say you're a high-level accountant or any kind of service position like that, you got to have enough respect for your clients to give personal feedback. Designing the customer experience is so overlooked. It's what really separates the good businesses from the not so good businesses. You have to think of every touch point for your business, not just online, but in the store. What's it like when like I have retail. So when you open the front door, there's a bell, old school bell that goes off in case somebody's not up front. We know somebody walked in. There's a scent. I had essential oils burning. You know, what is it like? How does it smell? How does it look? What does a customer hear? Think about when you go into a luxury store or a luxury boutique. How does it feel? It's a bit more quiet. You hear the music in the background. You can see the textures on the wall. That's a personal observation. Somebody has to thoughtfully decide to make that happen. Building your brand or your creative direction. I'm starting to see online, people say, oh yeah, I just built this brand online real quick. I just put it in ChatGPT. Like, yes, it can create the visuals for you. It can give you colors. It can give you designs. It can create full ads with what looks like real human beings riding around in your clothes or anything like that. But that doesn't make a brand. A brand is an intentional extension of a person for other people to interpret. And the only thing that they're going to interpret best is human connection. And so you can't just give that off to AI or any kind of technology. Partnership and collaboration. That requires a person to show up. You can't just analyze the data and say this person or this business is going to make for a good partner. For example, in my juice bar, we would host fitness events. And there's a ton of fitness personal trainers and things like that in Baltimore City. But I chose the guys who, one, they were customers of Good Part & Company. So they already liked, supported, and believed in my brand. But also, they were great instructors and they had really personable personalities. They know how to meet people where they are. Like some trainers might be a bit too aggressive. Some trainers may be a little more one way or the other. I thought these guys would be great for the types of customers that I had at my juice bar, and that made for a good partnership because I know them in real life. We had connections. Mind you, I just met them as customers at the juice bar, but it was all good. They came through and supported, and I supported with them, and I knew that would be a great partnership and collaboration. Now, let's talk about this second quadrant right here. This is the coaching quadrant. The coaching quadrant is high human touch and also highly automatable. With the craft quadrant is high human touch but low automation, right? The machines don't belong in that space at all. But with the coaching quadrant, think of yourself as a coach for a professional sports team. Not just any sports team, but a professional sports team, right? Because it's a lot on the line. We all getting paid to do this because you get paid in your business. So as a coach, you're on the sideline, but you still got your eye on the ball. You still got your eye on the game. You see what's going on, and you watching the things, and you contribute, and you have to make calls in real time. You might have to call a timeout, bring the group back in, huddle it up, grab the whiteboard, redraw the play, put somebody else in the game, take somebody out. That's what happens in your automations. You may have an email automation. One of these emails is not hitting. Customers never open this email. Well, you know that because you use the machine, you use AI to analyze that data, but you made the call to take that out and input a better email or remove it from the automation altogether. That's an example of a coach calling the play with automation, right? Doing it in your business. So some other forms of coachable tasks where you can hand it off to automation but still have a human in the loop to review it would be written content for sure. People really rely too much on AI to write social media. And now you get what we call AI slop as far as writing. You get a bunch of M dashes. You get questions, these weird transitions that people never say. You get words that people never use. You get a whole bunch of emojis and hashtags. That's how we know you're using AI and you're being lazy about it. So you want to refine it, make sure it's authentic, make sure it has your actual tone for your business, for your brand. Scheduling follow-ups. You know what your calendar looks like, and then you give that calendar to AI, and then when it goes to schedule the calendar, it won't be overlap, you won't be double booked, you won't be handling your clients in a sloppy way. Managing your CRMs, scoring your leads on warm, hot, cold. You can always look in, see who's the hot lead, who's not, but you can have AI assess that based on how you score your leads. So, high human touch, high automatable processes. That's where you're really going to have a premium. You can offer a much more premium experience for your business using AI in these types of ways. Now, in this third quadrant, this is the fully automated quadrant. This is where you basically let AI just handle everything. You get a lot of leverage from this, and these are things that don't need a lot of oversight. So lead capture forms, you can set it and forget it. But not just having the lead capture form. The automation part comes in when you connect that form to the backend CRM, where you can send emails back and forth based on the lead capture form. You can get a text reply to your customer. You can get a text reply to yourself like, hey, this person is a really hot lead. They triggered off a certain type of question on the lead form. Automation can do that for you. Appointment booking, processing, payment processing. You will be surprised how hard businesses make it to get paid. How people don't want to follow up for payment processing or for receipts and things like that. You can automate that. You can just send a nudge every week, every 2 weeks or whatever if you need to get paid back. But also, make it easy for people to work inside your business and pay you and support you. People want to be in your business once they get there, so make it easy for them to pay. They like what you do. They'll be more than happy to do so. Client onboarding forms, invoice follow-ups, like I just said, weekly and monthly analytics. So this part is if you are a data junkie and stuff like that, you may have already been doing this, but you don't have to go into a lot of your dashboards and spreadsheets to check stats. You can have AI review that on some kind of time, some kind of cadence, some kind of weekly rhythm, and just draft the email and send it to you, or a different kind of notification and send it to you and say, hey, this is what's going on. Whatever the things are that's important to you, you can do an automation. It can send it to you automatically. It doesn't take a lot of hands-on. Now this quadrant we shouldn't be in at all, but sometimes we end up there. And this quadrant is tasks that really should just be eliminated. So chasing unqualified leads. Sometimes we see a lead come through and we just think, hey, we need to do the follow-up. You got the discipline to do the follow-up, but you didn't do any lead scoring. So now this person might be unqualified. You know it, or you may not know it, but you're still following up. That's wasting time. That's wasting resources. Rewriting info or having to double down on either templates or into data entry. So say you have a spreadsheet and some information in it, but you got to put that information into, let's say, a payroll processor. You don't have to copy and paste back and forth every week, every day. There's an automation for that. You can make that happen. So you should be eliminating that task. That can be either moved over to fully automatable or a coaching kind of task. Okay, status updates, that's more of a thing between in your business if you have multiple team members and people who are just giving updates without any actions to take or decisions to make. That's a part of just business management and operation, but because I think in terms of managing teams sometimes, I put that in there because that is something that you may think you can automate that and you don't. You have to just build it into your culture. Send a message when this gets done, or don't send the message. So those types of things happen. So these are the 4 quadrants. The craft quadrant, high human touch, low automation. The coaching quadrant, high human touch, high automation. Fully automated quadrant, low human touch, high automation. And then the elimination quadrant. Low human touch, low automation. Get rid of those tasks. They're weighing you down. Hey, quick break in the video. While we're sitting here talking about all of these time-consuming tasks that AI can take care of for you. You know you want to use AI for it, but you don't know where to start. I can help you out with that. If you click the first link in the description, we can put together a customized roadmap for how you can implement the right strategies and AI tools in your business so you can start to cut costs and save time. So click the first link in the description, book a call, and we can get to it. Now let's get back to the video. Now, why is having a decision matrix like this even important? Why is it important to understand what you need to touch and what you can leave to tech? Because one, you need a decision matrix or a filter for everything that happens in your business, because you don't want to just bring in new tools, new processes, new people without filtering for that, right? That's what hiring is for. But what it's really going to help you do is understand what tasks are actually going down in your business, like what's happening inside your business. You'd be surprised at how many people don't know everything that's actually happening. And then how you can eliminate the tasks you don't need, delegate the tasks that someone else can do, and automate the tasks that nobody needs to really manage all the time. That's going to save you so much time. It's going to prevent you from being burnt out. It's going to allow you to work at a higher level on more strategic things you need to do. It's going to allow you to go take advantage of some other partnership opportunities to build with another entrepreneur somewhere in your city or online, or spend that extra hour that you want to do creating content that's really going to connect, right? If you automate all of the right processes, it's going to prevent you from getting burnt out. It's going to prevent you from having inconsistent systems that might be slow to follow up. Now you're losing out on clients, and you may not even know because they just said, well, this person didn't get back to me in 5 minutes. I'm going to just keep scrolling down Google and find the first person that called. Do your Googles. About 70% of people go with the first person that responds. Not the cheapest, not the best, but the first. Understanding what you can automate can definitely capture more clients for you. So having this kind of decision matrix is going to let you see what tasks you have and start to take more advantage of delegating and automating these tasks in your business. Even if you don't know anything about Steve Stout, his legendary run as a music executive, marketing executive, anything about United Masters, the main takeaway is that the winning combination for your business is to have humans for quality and use technology and AI for quantity. You want to have good personal touch. You want to have a creative edge. You want to have real connection with your customers. And you want to be able to manage communication at a high level, fast, and distribute it as much as possible. That's what technology is going to help you get done. If you like this decision matrix, the touch versus tech, and you think that it could be helpful for what you got going on in your business, you can access it at the second link in the description. If you liked the video and you thought it was valuable, subscribe to the channel, man. Give me a like and definitely drop a comment. Tell me if you liked the video, what you thought about it. Tell me how you're using AI in your business, and if you have any other questions about how you can use AI, you can leave it right there in the comments. I'll check you out in the next video.